So you know what really drives me insane is when the internet decides what the cool kids have to use. And if you don't use that, you just get shit on by all the other cool kids that use the thing that they want you to use. Typically, this is always based on what the military might be using at the time or price, stuff like that. And it's hilarious when new companies come out with new products, new firearms accessories, and especially if they're cheaper than what the cool kids are using, everyone has to shit on it because it's cheaper than the ridiculously overpriced things that they have that they need to justify that they paid for. And this has happened with so many different things from, like I said, guns, accessories. I mean, everyone shit on HoloSun for the longest time. I think only Nuttin' Fancy was like, these things are awesome. I don't know why you'd ever buy anything else. Like, I can buy 4 of these for the price of 1 aim point. And it's true. It held true. He was right all along. And now everyone's throwing HoloSuns on their pistols, on their rifles, and they're just kicking ass. And they are cheaper than some of the crazy priced optics out there. And it becomes hard to justify why they have such a crazy price. And so it happened with HoloSun, it happened with Streamlight. Everyone used to shit on Streamlight, then all of a sudden Streamlight started being cool, but it was cheaper to begin with, so it was just trash, and everyone was like Surefire only. So now everyone's like Surefire or Streamlight only. Like, you're not allowed to buy anything other than that. Otherwise, you bought the shittiest thing ever, and they can't even fathom why you'd ever buy something so shitty like maybe an Olight. When I made the video on this gun, everyone flipped out because I have an Olight PL Pro on here. And everyone was like, oh my god, how do you have a $6,000 gun but you put an Olight on it? Guys, I don't use what the cool kids tell me to use. I own all of the lights. Here's a Surefire X300 Ultra. Okay, here is a Surefire Scout on the Scar right here. This is the Scout. This is the newer one. And then when I made a video on this gun, again, everyone was like, oh my god, I can't listen to anyone who has an Olight on their gun. All right, so now that I've gotten over mocking all these people that are just internet wannabe cool kids, let's talk about why I have an Olight on some of my guns and why I put certain accessories on what. We're just going to compare Surefire versus Olight. Let's start with the pistols. So let's go over the only acceptable light that you're allowed to put on a pistol, the Surefire X300. If you don't have an X300, you're one of the poors. You can't afford it, and you're a loser. Just go home. Might as well just sell all your guns. This weapon light costs a whopping $290 for this thing, and it has 1,000 lumens. It does have a QD system. It's plastic. Surefire is known for being super reliable, so I'm assuming that this plastic holds up under hard use. I don't like this light very much, and let's talk about why. So when you want to activate the Surefire X300, you have 2 options. You can have a permanent on, which is this very tough to push up and down motion with your thumb. So you can push down, that's permanently on. Now, if you want to momentarily on it, you have to do this awkward thing where you push forward on the back. It's very awkward. I don't particularly like that at all. That's the main reason why I don't like this light. That, and it's ginormous. This light is just so big for being 1,000 lumens. It makes every carry gun annoying to carry because the light is just so giant. This light goes as far as the threaded barrel does on this FNX 45 Tactical. So it's just a giant light. And the controls, like I said, they're just very annoying to depress. I don't find it ergonomic, I don't find it intuitive, and I don't like how it works with my grip, because if I have my grip on the gun like this, my thumb is like way beyond the light. So for me to like momentarily on it, I have to hit it with like this. It sucks, I don't like it, and then I end up putting down pressure on the light anyway because I'm hitting it with like the middle of my thumb. It's just very annoying. In order to go around it, I'd have to like bring my grip back just to play with the light. I don't know. Like I said, it's just not intuitive. I hate the control and I hate the size of it. Now, let's talk about the most hated light on any of my videos, the Olight PL Pro Valkyrie on the $7,000 carry gun. Let's talk about this thing. This thing is only $130 and it has 1500 lumens, 500 lumens, 50% more lumens than the Surefire X300, and it's less than half the cost. Let's talk about this light. Why would I like this light? It has QD and it's all steel. It's much more solid of a lockup. It's adjustable for different guns. So one of the main reasons why I put this light on this gun is because not a lot of lights fit on this gun. It doesn't have a normal Picatinny rail on the bottom, like 1913 size. It's very shallow right here, and the width, this is a completely handmade custom gun. It just doesn't fit a lot of lights. Like if I try to put this Surefire on there, just for instance, even though this Surefire is trash, it's super fucking tight and it won't lock in. They have a different one of these plates in here. I don't know if that would help at all, but there's no way to adjust the tension of this, so it just sucks in general. And I happen to like this light a lot more anyway. But it has a metal QD system that adjusts with this screw. So that makes it fantastic for putting it on different guns and stuff like that whenever you want to. The controls are far more intuitive. So like with an actual shooting grip, you can just press it right here. It just goes in. It goes one really quick tap for constant on, and then slightly longer, and it's just a momentary on. Some people don't like that. It can kind of make it an ND problem because it's just like a quick tap and it will leave it on. I think that this is just so much more intuitive. It's just a way better actuation design for the light in general, especially with keeping it ergonomic with your actual grip. This part of my thumb can hit this so much easier in than it can push forward. It's also significantly smaller, if you can see. Like that's a way bigger light, the Surefire X300, and it's less powerful. Just everything about it, I like this light better. Let's go over something else that's kind of cool, is with this cable, you can leave it attached and it recharges the light whenever you want. You can just top off the light, never gonna take it off your gun. I even have holsters designed with a hole in the bottom where you can just charge this gun inside the holster. You don't have to unholster your gun and you can charge it just like that. This Surefire has a rechargeable thing, but you need to unscrew everything, and then the battery itself has a particular charger you need to have that can hook up to like the actual battery itself. It's pretty annoying. And what's cool is with this attachment, I also can do that to this rifle. And that charges right on the gun, no problems. And we're also going to take these outside and show how bright they are, because just lumen numbers don't always say the whole name of the game. So we're going to take them outside and compare them. But before we do that, let's go over the rifle lights. It's crazy how big the X300 is. All right, so now let's go over the rifle lights. Let's get the handguns out of the way. and we'll deal with the pistol and the scar. Now, why on earth would I have an Odin on this thing? Well, we already are showcasing some of the utility of this particular light right here. The Surefire is the only light that you should ever have on a gun. And if you don't have it, you're an idiot. So that's the Surefire Scout. Now, admittedly, Surefire products are very tough. And if I were a Special Forces operator and I was in Afghanistan and this light was the only light that I could ever acquire and my life is on the line at all times, maybe I would 100% choose the Surefire over the Odin. But I'm not. I'm a civilian. I'm at home. The chances of me being in a life or death situation are small, and if they are ever present, it's a very temporary thing, and I'm not going to be dredging through the harsh environments of the desert or jungle or something like that for extended periods of time. And durability is of the absolute utmost importance, and there is no room for any sort of error or you could die. So let's just go with that right here. But we have the Surefire. Now this friggin' light has 1500 lumens. It's the same as this pistol light. It's got 1500 lumens on this thing, and you also have to buy the end cap separately for the pressure pad. But you also have to buy the pressure pad separately as well. So in total, you have this light costs $253. You have this cap, this little tiny freaking cap, costs $53. And this particular pressure switch costs $105. This light almost costs the same as this pressure pad. This light costs less than this pressure pad plus this little end cap. That is astronomically ridiculous. This is a ridiculously overpriced light. This is a flashlight. It is ridiculously overpriced. I don't care how durable it is. I don't care what it can do that every other product cannot do, because I can buy 4 other products for the price of this one light. It is insane how much Surefire products cost. Like seriously, $290 for this freaking thing? And $411 for this pressure pad, this switch, and this light? I don't know, man. That's a hard friggin' sell for any kind of reason. Like I said, other than you happen to be just going into the wilderness for the next 6 months, and if anything happens to that light, you're fucked. So, I don't know. Okay. Those are also happen to be all the features of this light. It is a light. You push it. Oh, that's the IR device. Push it, and it goes on. Quick press. That's great. Fun. You actually cannot, in this configuration, make it always stay on. It is only a momentary on, and if I want it to stay on, I just got to keep holding the pressure switch, because this particular pressure switch also activates my IR device right here, the app DLC. So they also make another switch. It is a whopping $72 with a momentary on and then a button that you can push to make it constant on. But yeah, so that's the entire feature set. There is none. It's just you push a button, the light turns on. Let's go to the Odin. The Odin comes with everything you see on this gun at this point in time, and it only costs $160. All right, $160. So that is the QD attachment to the actual rail. This is one of my favorite things about the Odin. Number one, it's 2,000 lumens. Fucking kicks ass. 2,000 lumens. You have a QD attachment right here. This is what makes this light very, very cool. So you can see right here, it has this little lock unlock. So you twist this to the unlock position, then push it in and pull on it. Now you have a handheld light. 2,000 lumen handheld light, pressure switch on the back. That is so friggin' cool that this can do that. That alone is just so much utility, especially for a civilian where we can't just point our guns at shit. This is very cool. And all you gotta do is push it back in. It's a little easier when you're not in front of the camera, but push it back in, it clips, you hear a little snap, turn it to lock, and now you can't push it, can't come out. This tail cap comes with it. That snaps on, locks. I wish that this was a little bit more secure lock. So that's the only thing I don't like about the Odin. This thing is 100% better than this light for a civilian in every way, except for the fact that this can get bumped and pull off. That's kind of a fail when it comes to this light design as far as like ultimate reliability. If this thing just could like lock in the locking position and then you unlock it and throw it out, money. But it does lock, and I haven't had that come off. I just know it's like a thing where you like obviously bump that, see? Just like so, if you brush up against something, it could come off. You could tape it, fixes the problem. But anyway, that is super cool. The pressure switch, which comes with the light, is quick press, constant on, press and hold for a second to make it temporary. So like momentary on can be pretty quick. That's a pretty quick flash. Constant, really quick tap. Just almost in every single way, I like this light more than this one. I think durability is the only thing, and like ultimate reliability as far as this cap is concerned, is like the only thing where you could say, maybe I like the Surefire more, but this light is just friggin' awesome, especially for us civilians. And then being able to just put your gun on the counter and charge it whenever you want, make sure it's topped off. Or like I said, you can just unclip that and then off comes the light and you can just go charge it like that. So you don't have to move the rifle at all. Now let's just go outside and let's try these lights out and see how they look actually at night. All right guys, we are outside and I have not tried this yet, so this will be interesting for me to know too exactly how these compare back to back. But we have a car like right here that is about 30 yards away, maybe slightly more. You have the end of the street way down there. That is probably 150-ish yards away, maybe 200, but like 150. So we have the Surefire X300 Ultra. All right, so we have that car right there, and then towards the end of the street, you can kind of make out the house with it on, with it off. It has a very undefined hotspot, I would call it. Once it gets kind of close, it's very fuzzy hotspot. It's a very much of a floodlight, this particular light. Now, let's go with the PL Pro Valkyrie. Let's do the same thing. We're gonna hit the Jeep with it. Okay, you can see a clearly defined hotspot with this light. Let's go to the end of the street, so you can see the house a little bit better. Okay, so that's like the comparison. So you can see that house better with this light than you could the Surefire. And that hot spot right there is pretty fantastic. It also floods very nicely, but you can see that this thing has a really more intense center spot. Now let's go check out the other two rifle lights. Okay, now we have the Odin. Let's talk about the Odin. So this thing is 2,000 lumens. Let's see how it works. Again, we have just so many features on the Olights that the Surefires just don't have. So now this thing can come off the rifle, and it makes it really easy to test it out, and it has a pressure cap on the back. Now this thing, if you press it in lightly, it has like a lower power beam. And if you press it in all the way, it'll have a full power 2,000 lumen beam. Now, if you press it in all the way, but you press it really quick, it'll hold the 2000 beam. Get that same car over there, same spot down the street. So that car, like I said, it's about 30-40 meters, and then down there is like 150, maybe 200, something like that. So we have the full power beam going towards the back. You can see it's super powerful. Can actually light up the house way down the end of the street. All right, this is the Surefire Scout light, fully charged, rechargeable batteries inside. Let's see how we do. All right, there's the Jeep, end of the road. So this thing is just like super floody. It's so much flood. There's no hot spot at all. It almost feels like the dimmest out of all of them because it's just such a flood, and it has no concentrated beam to like brighten something up. But even like close up, it's just a complete floodlight. The Scout light is. So I don't know. It's probably like the least bright feeling out of all the lights, honestly. All right, we're back inside after testing out the lights, and it's just across the board. The Olights perform so much better than the Surefires. I mean, just, it's crazy how much more performance and how many more features you get per the light. And per the light's size, per the light's cost. I mean, look at how much bigger this thing is. I mean, the Scout light, it just doesn't have that bright hot spot in the center. It really can't light up at distance. It's just such like a big flood. I mean, I wouldn't even use this light on this gun if it wasn't for the usability of it seamlessly working with the app DLC. I mean, I don't feel like putting two pressure pads, one for the Odin and one for the app DLC. I think that like that is something that keeps me using the Surefire. I mean, granted, this has a rechargeable battery, but so does that. And so does this, and these just smoke the Surefires in performance. I've heard that like new actual usable batteries can make it a little bit brighter, but like there's no excuse when you have Olight, which is this cheap garbage that's just absolutely destroying Surefire as far as the feature set's concerned, ergonomics, usability, and performance itself. So guys, that's my rundown between Surefire and Olight. I 100% prefer Olight over Surefire in almost every way. My carry gun, I have Streamlight. I mean, I use the product that I like the most, and that's bottom line. Well, what I see performs the best, what I like the feature set the most, stuff like that. I mean, I've never had any of my Olight weapon lights fail. I've had their like little tiny pocket lights. I had a switch not work once. It wasn't recharging. It was like one of those rechargeable switches like on that, and it just wouldn't take the charge. So that's the only thing I ever had wrong, and that was one of the cheaper like handheld ones. But these weapon lights, which are still pretty expensive, this is a $130 light, that's a $160 light, and for a flashlight, that's pretty hefty amount of money. I've never had any of these break. I have like 5 of these weapon lights, and they all work flawlessly. So there you go. There's my Olight versus Surefire video. Go out and use the products. Don't just go by what you hear on the internet. I don't get paid a cent. I know so many guys get sponsored by Olight to say how great it is and the sales and stuff. Olight has never given me shit, and they don't even know who I am. But I happen to really like their products for the performance, value, and feature set that you get with these lights. It's just so hard to beat. And Surefire, man, this is just so overrated, overpriced shit. That's all I can say. All right, guys, have a good one.